Diriger from the University of Lorraine, and me in BRIL-EL from the University of Lorraine also. So this is the jury for the habilitation, habilitation à diriger des recherches de Mario Lezoche. You will have 45 minutes, Mario, for your presentation, and then we will finish by some question, 1 hour after the questions. I will give you the floor, Mario.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you to all to be here. And okay, I will start my defense of my habilitation à diriger des recherches at the University of Lorraine. The title is Formalisation of Models and Knowledge Extraction, Application to Heterogeneous Data Sources in the Context of Factory of the Future. First of all, I will give you a presentation plan. I will present myself with an overview of my career, with a quantification in research and in teaching. After, I will present what I did as a researcher with a scientific positioning and contribution. And at the end, I will present you research and teaching project conclusion. So first of all, who I am. I'm Mario Lezoche. I was born in '74 and I'm married. In 2006, I made my research master degree on databases and ontology in Italy, University of Roma 3. After, also in Italy, but with the CNR and the University of Roma 3, I made in 2009 my PhD. The title was Coherent Problem Between Business Fields and Business Process. After I left Italy, I arrived in Nancy. I made a postdoc. The university called for the last year Université Henri Poincaré. I made it in 2011, and I became associate professor in 2012. I teach mostly at the Technological University Institute Hubert Courriens et d'Épinal, and I'm a researcher at CRAN. I will give you now a career overview. A career overview starts with my co-mentorship numbers, co-mentorship people who gave me the possibility to, and with whom I worked a lot, was 5 person PhD students. With them, we worked during 10 years. Now I'm working with Andy. She's working in US from the NIST. After I mentored two master students and 2 postdoc actually now that are my brilliant PhD students, Yasamin and Concetta. Thanks to a project that gives us the possibility to hire them. In fact, the project. So I participated to a number of projects, 7 exchange researcher projects, 2 H2020, where I have responsibilities, 1 ANR PRCE that is going to start. It will start in this week. And I'm international coordinator of ASTICAM Sud. In the next future, we are working with the German partners and Luxembourg partner to depose 2 other national projects. Some events I organized. So I organized 2 seminars. I participate to the organization of the GDR Max STP Days. I am in the member of the International Program Committee of 2 conferences, and I was co-chair during 2 years in the EI2N workshop. And finally, a quantitative research result I published 55 works, 10 journal papers were GCR, around 2 journal papers per student, and since 2017 I have the PEDR, that is a reconnaissance from the ministry for working well. My teaching responsibilities. I focus on 4 domains: data management, mostly. As usual, we divide here in France the type of lessons in 3: the frontal lessons, the accompanied exercise, and the exercitation. I work and I teach in all the different levels of the university, from the first triennial degree, and then also in the higher way, in the higher level, around 50% in the first 3 years and 50% in the other 2 years. I had several responsibilities. Since 2012, I was member of Directive Institute Council. I was responsible of 2 different licenses in different way. In the department where I work, I was responsible for the Admission Commission and the Improvement Council. In the engineering school where I work, from the 2014 to 2017, I was responsible for the specialization in enterprise information system. How I position myself? So in the local positioning, I'm a researcher at the Center of Research on Automatic of Nancy. It's a mixed research unit belonging to University of Lorraine and CNRS. I work in the Department of Ecotechnics System Engineering, and I collaborate with the other 2 professors to the leading of the research project team, Intelligent System and Object in Interaction. National and international positioning. Since 2012, I'm member of the working group EZDIM, currently INE. Since 2013, I am member of scientific interest group on interoperability of the Greater Region. The Greater Region is the part of the Luxembourg, the south of Belgium, the west of Germany, and the northeast of France. Since 2014, I'm member of the IFAC Technical Committee 5.3, and since 2020, I'm member of the IFIP Technical Committee 12. My research domain interests are semantic interoperability and knowledge formalization. Both of them apply to manufacturing enterprise and factory of the future. Semantic interoperability is the ability of computer system to exchange data with an ambiguous and a shared meaning. It's a requirement that enables machine computable logic and knowledge discovery, data federation. So this is the kind of work I made since my PhD. Knowledge formalization is the process of translating some narrative guidelines, sub-data, etc. We will focus on what is it knowledge after, into structured knowledge. The factory of the future, it's a concept that was introduced in 2011 in an Hannover Messe, and it describes a new way of organize the production in enterprises, and getting the smart factories where everything is done through interaction between product and machine themselves, linked over a network that evidently put in control also human. I started to focus my interest in industry, and with the first thesis, but also with my PhD, we focus on the product life cycle. In this industrial revolution has substantially changed the way humans live. Here we can see that we have a problem in exchanging knowledge between one system to another, but we will see after also between one model to another model. To understand that, we after focus on what is it data, what is it information, what is it knowledge, to understand what is it that we need to exchange. But we also need to understand that implicit semantics is something that is hidden in models. The product life cycle is something related to industry, but now industry is changing. Now smart factory, big data, Internet of Things are the reality. Industry 4.0, as I said, it's something that needs to get up the smart factories. The cyber-physical system, as you can see, it's a point, a really strong point in the definition of all this structure, of this environment. In fact, what is it as cyber-physical system? It's a smart sensor that is in a way linked strongly to the physical world through sensing. In another way, linked strongly to the cyber-physical, to the cyber system. Through the sensing, through the network sensing, the sensor get the data. Through the internal process or the communication network, elaborate the data, put a context inside, create information, and send or some command to actuate, and so actuation, or some advice when the information is structured in network. I worked a lot with a lot of people on cyber physical system. One of our results is a meta model speaking about what is it CPS, what is composed by. So you can see here that is composed by a physical part, a cyber part, a sensing and actuating component related to the physical part. We have evidently a way to input and output. The CPS could be atomic, alone, or we can create it in a bunch of composite CPS, so a network that has got some other potentiality. Related to that, we have cyber physical production system. In fact, how to put the CPS inside a context of industry. We arrive to propose a new meta model. This meta model is it's an evolution of the other. In fact, you can see in the lower part the same, and then we have the fact that we have the attributes extracted from the cyber component part that are related, analyzed in the information system that is owned by enterprise system. Evidently, enterprise unit are the elements that compose an enterprise. Here we found my interest research domain. We found the fact that we need semantic interoperability to understand all those information from information system towards other information system inside enterprise or outside. And we have the formalization from data towards knowledge. But data and knowledge. From rough data to knowledge, as one of my PhD students brilliantly said in his PhD report. So in Fayad 96, we read that historically the notion of finding useful patterns was given a variety of names: data mining, knowledge extraction, information discovery, etc., etc. So what is it knowledge? He said that we can consider a pattern to be a knowledge if it exceeds an some interestingness threshold. Okay, so to understand really the procedure, we have to understand several tasks, several parts. In fact, from 2014, I decided to evolve my research towards the study of problems formalization. knowledge extraction from systems that were characterized by heterogeneous data sources. Russell, in 2002, so 12 years before, structured a process from identifying a boundary of knowledge towards the encoding, formalization, etc., etc. So I can define my way, that is general one, but I focus on the step 2, 3, and somehow also 4. So first of all, I define a notion of knowledge as a set of interesting regularities. This gives me the possibility to discover the knowledge, then to represent it using a various formalization, and then some method to extract the information that then we will use. So, as I said, and it's always the product life cycle you will see during all the presentation, because it's something that relates to all my research work. My interest in are the semantic interoperability. So I try to work on the model-driven cooperation system that wants to cooperate and so want to interoperate. You can see all the different exchange knowledge between the systems, and then we will see between the model. And then the part of the formalization. In fact, we have all the different red triangle. In the red triangle, we have implicit semantics. This implicit semantics needs to have some tools, mathematical language, mathematical model, modeling language, tools in every form, in every shape, to extract and formalize the hidden knowledge. Now we expand a little bit. We go towards the users and the models. I would like to present my scientific contribution through the eye of my PhD mentorships, because I like very much working with them, and thanks to them, we developed a bunch of results. We started in 2013, in 2010 in reality, with Yonsing thesis that was interested in the problem of semantic annotation. In fact, I put near the implicit semantic because the work with Yonsing touched all the different models. Then we passed in the Silvana thesis that contributed to solve the problem of semantic interoperability through the study of structuring the semantic process. So we focused on semantic processing. Then with Yasamin, we focused on formalizing the solution to assure the sustainability assessment in all the manufacturing organization. With Concetta, we focused and we attacked the problem of semantic definition invariant of cyber-physical system. This is to get the path towards the digital twin. So we will see then. And then eventually with Michael, we worked on, we focused on knowledge extraction through the multi-relational data mining, especially focusing on relational concept analysis. Actually, now I'm working with Hind on optimizing the process that and the data and the knowledge coming from ERP system, production data, and manufacturing. The case study is focused on additive manufacturing. But we go to Yonsing. So with Yonsing, we focus on semantic annotation. There were some obstacles, the implicit semantics, as I said, and also the lack of mechanism to verify that the represented knowledge was correct. we started to represent a meta model, a semantic annotation meta model. With this, we focus on the part that contains implicit or ambiguous semantics. We focus also on the ontology that capture different aspects of knowledge. And evidently, we modeled the part, the central part, that was related to semantic structure and semantics of the domain. And this created the link. Through the meta model, we instantiated in a framework, a semantic framework. This semantic framework is composed by a lot of stuff, but we can see on the left side the different models related to all the PLC cycle, the PLM cycle. Then in the center we have a bus. This bus is represent the semantic annotation and processes agent. This agent takes the knowledge that is created and stacked in the knowledge cloud, in the ontology. Through the reasoning, it will put the correct view of the knowledge to be understood by each of the model. So now I present you a puzzle that little by little it will be composed, where we will have the result and the position of each of the result, and you will see that there is something that needs to be linked through other research. The second thesis, the Silvana one, was to work on the e-health information system and how to use semantics to have a good selection of the process variation inside a bunch of possibilities. We focused on a framework. We results in a framework that first of all started to analyze the log. Analyzing the log, it created the process model. This process model identified the variation, and then it created a decision tree. This decision tree, where decision points were really important to be analyzed, was passed through a questionnaire to apply the users in providing the information needed for the selection of the variant of the process that we were using. It was important to create all the dependencies between all the definition of the variation points, so to create a list of definition that was related to the order of dependencies, and this gave us the possibility to structure with different ontologies the possibility to have the formalization knowledge, formalized knowledge stacked in different ontology linked between them, and through a reasoning engine we could answer with different way. SWRL, for example, we use it to give a process variant. As you can see, we have formal semantic knowledge formalization in a part, and knowledge formalization but related to processes, the interoperability, the semantic interoperability of the processes in the second. With the third thesis, with the Yasamin thesis, we started to work on to research how to compare and assess and fill the gap between the performance on sustainability from manufacturing enterprise and the tools and the bibliography that existed. We have started with a comparison with all the different dimensions that we could have in practice and in literature. With this, we use a lot formal concept analysis methods on all the phases of product life cycle. we had a result. The result was, first of all, a three-dimensional model for sustainability assessment, product life cycle, triple bottom line, and system process and product line. This was included to have a global and not ad hoc methodology in a cubical model, a cubical 3D model that introduced a standard indicator and measurement that was based on a global reporting initiative, and so gave us the possibility to select the good indicator for the good methodology and the good situation. Now we have three results. We need to start to work to fill the gap. With the Concetta thesis, where the contribution was the formalization of the approach for to formalize the data-driven invariant modeling construct for improving the smartness of manufacturing process product involving network components. The idea was to detect automatically from data invariant modeling construct. Thanks to the work with Concetta, we arrived to have an approach. This approach was to identify the system that to be analyzed, to detail the representation of the system, to enable the selection of the data to analysis, to discover automatically the association. We used FCA and relationship among the data, to describe the recurrent behaviors of the system, to extract the knowledge from data to define the physical meaning of the association, to formalize the data-driven invariant, and then, first of all, to design a virtual model that would be able to create a system for realizing its digital twin, and reuse all the data-driven invariant that we created. The DT4 of the Concetta works was evaluating the part of Silvana, because working always on the process but in a global way was there the link and evolution of these results. With Michael's contribution, that work was related to the concept and relational concept analysis to show the method that was good for the knowledge extraction. We focused on the development of the RCA to extract association rule and to bypass the presence of the cycles in the object description in any binarized multi-relational dataset. It reinforced the theory of RCA, defining the notion of formal concept, and mathematically demonstration the interest of RCA in relation to FCA. But before speaking of RCA, we have to understand a little bit of what is it FCA. FCA, so formal concept analysis. And formal concept analysis, it was introduced in 82 from Willy, and analyzes the unary data set. It starts with a formal context that is a triplet composed by object, attributes, and a binary relation, a binary relationship. But before speaking about the formal concept, I have to introduce rapidly a derivation operation, because the derivation of a set of objects is the set of attributes that are carried jointly by all the objects. Thanks to that, we can define formal concept. The formal concept are object belonging belonging to a Cartesian product, POPA, such that epsilon is equal to the derivation of x, and x is equal to the derivation of epsilon. This gives the possibility to call C a formal concept. X is called extent and epsilon is called intent. The concepts are fundamental abstraction of FCA. thanks to that, we can use the formal context to create a concept lattice, given the set of all the formal concept and the relation of inclusion on the extension of the concept. But this is a little bit theoretical. We go directly for an example. We have 4 cats, my 4 cats, our 4 cats, Pepita, Demetra, Talpi, and Lea, with a bunch of properties. Okay, we can create the formal context. The formal context, so object are the cats, and the attributes, the properties are the the attributes are the properties. So we can represent it on a unary table. The X is where the cat has got its property. We can apply the derivation operation, and so we can present the represent the knowledge that we have in this structure of knowledge with an HAS diagram. You can see in the HAS diagram we have the name of the formal concept. Then we have the attributes, the properties, and the concept. Thanks to that, we can extract association rules. With the association rules, we can extract and create the knowledge and represent the knowledge structured in some data. From the FCA, we extend, in reality, HUCHARD in 2002 extend the FCA to relational data compatible with the entity association model, such as the model considers a binary relation between the object. If we have a formal context, we can have a binary relationship between them. This creates a relational family of contexts and give us the possibility to go through all the different contexts. In fact, the FCA doesn't allow a direct use of the information included in such relationship. This was really interesting, and the results of Michael's thesis was the redefinition of a formal concept within the framework, and the demonstration that the association could be extracted without some recourse. So now I presented my achievement of research domain, some results. I will present you my research project. Starting from the context, we have to extract from different architecture, thanks to different intelligent system or not, some data types. Those data types will be formalized in models, and the models, from the models, we derive the systems. The idea is to continually make semantically interoperable all the system to ensure their common understanding and to facilitate the interoperability, minimizing the semantic loss. But to do all this in this context, we need to use some methods that are there, and so I will start with the engineering of interoperable system, Ramos Morel, that will be used to rely to different level of abstraction. This model must be expressed not only in a structural way, but also in a behavioral way. Remembering always that we need to have constraint, to follow constraint. Some interoperability constraint following the protocol are, for example, the system needs to be autonomous, to be confidential, to be transparent. Evidently, each domain needs some specific requirements. So, the objective of my research in the near future is to model data from heterogeneous sources, to create knowledge from them, and to study the problems that are posed by model-driven engineering in cooperative system. The cooperative system can be seen as a bunch of complex systems, and the complex system can be interpreted as a network. If we rely to the industry 4.0 factory the future, we need to have some creator of data. So we can focus on the networks of CPS. Those network CPS needs to interoperate, not only to collaborate between them. So we need to each of the component, each of the network component needs to interoperate. And so we need to make available languages and modeling tools to be adapted to each of the project. And here, my two-dimension challenge, one is related to the modeling capacity, the other to study the condition of the use that is evidently in practice. To do this, evidently, we focus on three different scientific logs. First of all, which approach should be the most suitable, taking into account all the domain constraints to model data from heterogeneous sources. Then, how to discover formalized knowledge from the heterogeneous data, and how to solve semantic interoperability problem posed by model-driven engineering in heterogeneous and cooperative willing system. We return to the puzzle. If you remember the three logs, scientific logs, we can see the first one, the links between the work on the process and work on the globality of the product life cycle through the knowledge discovery and formalization. In the case that I will work on with Hind, it's on additive manufacturing, but this is created for create a bridge between these two parts. The second is the formalization and composition, because we have to answer to this problem. We can link the discovery to the knowledge extraction results that we had with Yonsing and with Michael. And at the end, we can return towards the globality through the work that I will try to develop, formalizing all the knowledge in the heterogeneous system. So all this part, you see there are a lot of pieces that lacks. In a midterm, I would like to create methodologies for clarify and formalize the knowledge based on intelligent or connected object, always to the factory of the future domain. And in the long run, I would love to automatically create methodology to automatic knowledge explicitate the knowledge. But to do this, with what kind of resource or what kind of environment I will need? Well, first of all, the local context, the university, the laboratory, the department, and the team. Then the regional one. For example, here in the Grand Est, there is an Industry of the Future plan that is pushing a lot on this kind of axis. Then I started some years ago a very good collaboration with the Epinal Chamber of Commerce and Industry and its incubator K-Alpha, with whom I managed to have an H2020 project and a PhD cipher. In the national context, all the concept that I presented, it's related to the ANRT axis. One of the precise is the 5.2 that is related to knowledge extraction, formalization, and management. And in the international context, there are issues in the Horizon Europe 2021-2027 related strongly with the Factory of the Future and Industry 4.0. So this is my research project proposal. And there is also the teaching part. The teaching part are related to two different channels. One, it's Industry 4.0 related to the Clio department where I teach, that obtain 500,000 euros to create a lean atelier, a lean manufacturing laboratory, where I have structured around this atelier 4 different modules. And the telecommunity one is more related to the creation and formalization of knowledge. Related to different modules, I'm working to reinforce and to construct. It's Enterprise 4.0, where I teach CPS and blockchain, artificial intelligence, where I collaborate with several other people for structuring and understanding the basic algorithm, then to create it towards the real-world algorithms, and integrated enterprise management, where I try to show how to cope with the complexity of the enterprise nowadays. To end, I would like to show you how I see a researcher, mentor, teacher in my point of view. First of all, it's like a temple. The basic abilities are curiosity, critical mind, all the lifelong, with an open and listening position all the time. Thanks to that, we can have 4 pillars. The first of all is scientists for research, so publishing, supervising research students. Then pedagogy, to help people to improve, so teaching by project, student supervision of projects, research training through research. Then we have one of them I prefer is the next one, sorry. The collective to keep the structure alive. As you saw, I'm in the search of funding all the time, working in different and various projects, and I participate to the bodies of research and teaching institution. And the one that I love, working in team. I love working at pedagogical level, research level, and enlarged group level, with people. Yes, evidently, one idea comes from one brain, but then it's thanks to the environment where we are and the links where we have that this idea can really structure it in a project, in a research result. All this gives me the possibility to constant evaluate. Okay, I end. Thanks for the audience, and now I'm here to answer to all your interesting questions. Thanks for the audience.
Thanks, Mario, for your clear presentation. I will directly give the floor of the first reviewer, Marianne HUCHARD, please.
Yes, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Yes. Okay, so first I would like to thank you for inviting me to this jury, because this is very interesting to see all the work that you developed. I particularly appreciated the puzzle that you presented. This is very interesting to see, and I appreciated also that the way you share your vision of research and of your career in general. So So thank you for all of that. I'm not specifically in your domain because I don't work in I am more a computer scientist, and maybe you know in France that we have such a separation between computer science and maybe production system engineering. But for that, I think your work is very interesting because it is fixing some connection, establishing some connections between all these domains. So this is very, very interesting to do that. And the result is something which is very coherent, consistent corpus of work. So this is really nice. And also, I appreciated much the way that you include and you structure your research around the PhD supervision. So this is really nice. Also, I think for motivating the young people, because they can see that their work is very important for all of us, for the supervisor. So thanks for that. And I also liked much the thing that you wrote in your manuscript, and we see during the talk, is the way that you connect research and teaching. So I think that for us that are teachers and researchers, this is important to have this connection. So thank you for all of that. And now I have plenty of questions, but I will just choose some of them. So my first set of questions will be about the semantic annotation, as you may imagine. And I was wondering how the annotation work. So when you make some annotation on the models, did you observe some changing in the models? And especially because you mentioned that you try to solve some inconsistencies, or you try to enrich the models while you make the annotation work. So.
Okay. First of all, thanks to be here, and thanks for the question. With Yonsing, we started to analyze, first of all, the model that we had. Like Heisenberg said, it's something really, really close by his law. When you see the model and you want to represent, to explain the hidden part of the model, you change it. You change it because there are a lot of stuff that you have to include to make it explicit. In fact, it's for that reason that we have in the lower part, we have PLC related ontology that are linked to all the external part of the domain, the general part, the part that is without that you cannot after communicate with the other module of the PLC. So first of all, my first answer is yes, you change the model when you annotate it. How we annotate it? We put simply some bunch of some links between ontologies, and we point directly to the part of the model that we need. But making this, we have to write in the I instantiate it. We have to write in the file of the model, because in this way, when some automatic software passes, it can understand. It links directly to the ontology.
Okay. Yes, thank you. And this leads to my second question, which is about. So we see that there is a lot of work to make to design the ontologies and to annotate the models with that. And I was wondering to which extent the world of Industry 4.0 is ready to make this work, because it's. I imagine that part of it can be done automatically, but part of it needs human time.
A lot of human time, but yes.
Yes.
The answer is composite because, as I said, I'm now working with Hind and with the NIST on additive manufacturing. And there I started to work on methodologies that are linked evidently to artificial intelligence, machine learning, etc., that automatically will present some advice, some annotation, some modification of the structure of the process that then can be or validated by human or simply applied. This is when we have a lot of data, so big data, a lot of data, and inside this data we can find recurrency. When we have on different processes that are similar but not equal some patterns, evidently automatically we can extract. But the answer is this is the future. But I worked with Concetta. With Concetta, we worked a lot on creating a digital twin, and the work that was behind the creation of this simple, because it was a pilot, digital twin was enormous. Enormous because not all the industry are ready to make their data available, not because they don't want. Yes, there are also industries that don't want, but because the machine and the PLC standard is done. We are still in the industry 3.0. We are not yet in the industry 4.0. So now we are in the transition. The transition is pushing a lot, modifying, focusing on the openness of the machine data availability. This is one of the most important things. Human time, yes and no. If we have a lot of data, and if we need how to have a lot of data automatically taken from the machine, we can apply different kind of methodology to propose the resolution, the process where the solution will be.
Okay, so this is very encouraging, we could say, for these methods. Okay, so I have another question, but about maybe the second contribution, which is about what you presented on slide 18, if I remember, about the customization of customization of processes and models and products. And yes, and as I wrote in my report, so I was wondering what is the connection between this type of approach and the domain of software product line approach. So maybe, I don't know if you had time to look at that while you were preparing the presentation.
I didn't well deep in the answering to your remark. The things that we did with Silvana is going inside some different hospitals, trying to understand how the process could be modeled,
yes,
and starting to create. And there was a lot of time. It was really time consuming because we need to have some expert knowledge, and the expert was yes, expert in their domain, but completely not get used to the modelization. So the way that the soft engineering way to see the problem is the approach, there it could be quite difficult. In fact, one of my one of my idea is to be completely independent from the kind of environment where we have to apply the model. We have the constraint. The constraints are really strong in different environment. When the formalization it's more difficult, there is the more of the human work.
Okay. Yes. In fact, I was thinking not about a software aspect, but more about variability on product lines.
Okay.
Because.
Yes. Okay. Sorry, I didn't catch that. We can make some links with the mass customization. In fact, the variability here, and in another thesis that I didn't tutor it, but I work with, and also our president here, Hind, developed. The name was Antonio Giovannini. Worked a lot with the possibility of the variability. The solution that this thesis proposal made was that yes, we have a mass of variation, but we can find always a pattern in the variation. And if we link the pattern that we found with the constraint of the environment, we can have subsets that gives us the possibility to answer rapidly and with less resource to each problem, and to each in the way of the manufacturing works in the answer to a specialization of a mass production.
Okay, yes. So I think we could continue to discuss, but in the future, about that topic, because I think there are interesting links about that. Okay, so maybe I will ask to you some question about formal concept analysis, of course, because this is my main domain of interest. And in the presentation of DT3, I think I didn't note, maybe 21 was the slide. So you showed a cubical model, and as you make some formal concept analysis, I was wondering if you could use triadic concept analysis. I don't know if you...
Could you, sorry?
Triadic concept analysis.
No, we didn't.
No.
We didn't use triadic concept analysis. No,
Yes.
we simply use FCA model, okay. Simply, and with this we make a lot of different subsets, and we create a lot of association rules, and then we had simply two different contexts, and we linked the two different contexts, and so we used
FCA.
FCA.
Yeah, okay. Yes, I think you used some projection of the triadic cube. Yes, okay. In 2D, we could say. Okay, and my last questions will be about your vision about RCA, because in the manuscript you discuss about you propose combining some algebraic or geometrical tools with RCA, and as the last question, I would like to have your ideas about that, because you don't develop that in the manuscript.
I don't develop that because it's an intuition. I spoke with some mathematician. One of them is it's in the public, and give me some hints about the possibility to use geometrical laws and to apply to evidently to FCA RCA because they are strongly linked. But it's simply some intuition that this is the way. This is the next, at least for me, the next work I will focus on, and so it's embryonal for the moment, and for that reason that I cannot develop more than the things that I wrote in my manuscript, because during the last part of the writings, I started to work with him.
Okay. Okay, so thank you. So we will discuss about that in the future. Absolutely. And yes, and this, I think it's interesting because this shows very well that you not only apply some existing techniques, but you also propose new techniques, maybe mathematical techniques for analyzing and producing knowledge. So it will be very interesting to continue that. So thank you again. And for me, that's all.
Thank you, Marianne. Hind.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Thank you, Marianne, for these questions. So now we can move to Néjib MOALLA. We have 15 to 20 minutes for the questions.
Thank you, Mr. President. So first of all, I'd like to thank my colleagues from the CRAN for inviting me to be part of this jury, to be a reviewer for this HDR defense. It's a great honor for me. I'd like to thank also and congratulate Mario for his manuscript and for his presentation today. It's really very interesting, very dense in terms of research access presentation. Mario, I guess, summarized 9 years experience in a very balanced way regarding the teaching and the research activities. Let's say the main umbrella presented about knowledge extraction, the link with semantic interoperability, information system engineering, and the context of Industry 4.0. I guess it was very well illustrated with the 5 research work supervised or co-supervised. We identified very interesting topics about semantic annotation, interoperability assessment, about sustainability assessment, very interesting concept about cyber physical system and the application of relational concept analysis. I guess what we read and what we get today from this presentation, it's very, very rich, and let's say we can open the discussion about many topics. So I will select some of the topics that I would like to discuss maybe with Mario. Maybe the first one is related to the life cycle view that you, Mario, use in during your presentation. Yeah, do you think that we can upgrade this view to cover something maybe related to the RAMI model, because some of your contribution can serve the architectural view or the factory view? So this one, let's say only one dimension related to product life cycle, in my opinion, is not enough. We can find a lot of your research work applicable for example, the architectural view.
First of all, thank you, Néjib, for being there, and thanks for the question. My choice to present my research results and my future in the way of the product life cycle is simply because with this I could present all the different results with an organic and a comprehensible way. But evidently, with my PhD students, we worked in a network of different environments, and for example, the presentation with Michael that we did in formal concept analysis or relational concept analysis was related, first of all, with e-health environment, and in the e-health we had process view, but not only, it was also architectural. As you said, the balancing of these two different views gives me the possibility to jump from one to another to take what I need to represent the reality in the way that it's optimized for the things that I have to solve. So, first of all, the presentation was really for presentation use, and secondly, the different attack angle for a single problem or a set of problems can be architectural or procedural. It depends on what is the representation that needs to be solved, and then what is the problem that I need to attack.
Yeah, thank you. I will select one question for each one of your contribution, and maybe I'll keep discussion about your future project, research project. The first, quickly, because it's partially covered with the question of Marianne, it's about all your effort in terms of knowledge annotation, ontological modeling, and so on. So we discussed about the ontology engineering effort needed in order to maintain all the concepts that you will define, select, collect, and maintain somewhere. My question is about the use later. This ontology will be used to solve some concrete problems, and how you can evaluate later within the exploitation that you can set up the relevance of the level of knowledge that you collect, this applicability in order to serve some process, some mechanism, some digital transformation mechanisms in a company. What are the exploitation scenarios that you think about in order to later evaluate the relevance of what you are defining as concept and you are enriching later?
Thank you. As we said, ontology are one of the most formalized way that we can have knowledge. In reality, what we need to work inside the enterprises are the knowledge bases. Why? Because we have this kind of fixed, semi-dynamic formalization that are continuously in a loop integrated with new data through all the different procedures we can analyze and implement, add, include new knowledge or modified knowledge. So ontology alone, yes, it's really important, interesting, but regarding the enterprise, it's not so much use, other less of having a knowledge database that gives you the possibility to understand some of the procedures, some of the links inside the enterprise. The things that it's more important is evidently a knowledge base that it's living, that it's dynamic, that can be uploaded, and then evidently we will have different kind of methods to evaluate the different degree of updateness, completeness that we need to have from a representation of a reality representation.
Okay, thank you. I agree with you that there are big effort needed in order to encapsulate an ontology in some software, let's say, components. It's useful, we can do it. We can have some services connected with some OIL files, and we can establish a communication in order to get some results and use them in some rich way to populate some decision mechanisms. But today, in terms of implementation, we will have some, let's say, some drawback regarding the time needed in order to establish this process, and being connected to some deployment environments, we will face some limitation on this. My second question regarding your contribution in the healthcare sector. So I'm trying to understand better your viewpoint regarding the process mining that you are proposing. If we are focusing on process mining, this is related to some previous events that happens on this process. So the process exists, we fetch the log, we analyze the log, we try to find the trace regarding the different tasks that was previously performed, and some of the exploitation that we can expect is to identify where we have some bottlenecks, where we have some lacks of communication, where some tasks are not successful because they are not assigned to the right people, and so on. In your process, you are targeting the customization, the personalization later. So the ontology will be the way in order to find some new connection, helping to extend the existing processes and provide new connection that will provide a new variety of this business process later. My question here, it could be very interesting in any system or any application domain where we have a clear idea about what could be the new configuration of the business process in terms of validation mainly, because you know, in the healthcare domain, the process are not determinist. If you are following the patient treatment step by step, any physician can provide or can advise for some complementary analysis when needed, and we cannot limit the steps together. So how do we imagine apply this personalization in the healthcare sector? It will be some generic process in order to explain otherwise what are the different steps that we have to follow from the business view in order to support a patient treatment, or you are expecting some concrete application, for example, for patient monitoring or for patient tracking. What is your expectation level here?
Both of them, but in a different time set. First of all, I expect that the process work that we had with Silvana, coupled with ontology, etc., gives the possibility to answer to user question related to whatever is the process inside e-health management, from the administrative answer until towards the medical support. But in reality, the things that we did with Silvana was related to, it was really linked to the creation of a bunch of applications that could follow up the users, so to equilibrate the process, the generic process that the hospital, the health ministry has got inside their database with the particular history of the client, of the person who needs health stuff, so that it becomes to enlarge the precision of the results related to the question and related to the variation of the process. The idea was to create application that customized completely the process for each of the history of the patient.
Yeah, thank you. But this is maybe bring to my mind another question regarding the gap that you can have between the knowledge that you collect regarding process mining or from the process mining activities and the ones coming from the requirements of the user. If the user is asking for some personalization and you don't have enough background or you don't have enough concepts or enough artifacts that help you to guide this transformation of your process, how do you think that you will manage this later? So this is maybe help you to provide the path of transformation, to provide some patterns of transformation.
Yes, because you highlight the lack of concept that you need to fulfill, the data that you need to acquire, and so this is another way to create needs for the public health, to understand where it lacks, where is the problem, and how to answer. And this thanks to the impossibility to answer to some requests from the client.
Okay, thank you. For the third contribution in slide 21, I guess, you present this 3D view about sustainability evaluation. I have a maybe a concern regarding the triple bottom line analysis. So here, I guess you try to combine social environment and economic aspects in order to evaluate your product. I don't see in your contribution something about the functional decomposition of the process or of the activity in order to define what we call in this scope the functional unit that we need to caricaturize. I will find the term and later find the right KPI, because we cannot consider the system as a whole. We need to find the sub-functions. We have to identify if they are available or not, if they are relevant or not in terms of assessment. What will be the impact of this assessment later in the selection process and so on, and find the right KPIs, evaluate them, and by the way, identify some mechanism of ranking or something else, helping us to make a selection where it's possible to select when we compare different materials or different process, different machines or something like that. This complexity regarding the decomposition, the selection process later, the data aggregation in terms of KPI, definition and exploitation, how do you consider them? I don't know if we have to ask the question from the semantic point of view, what modeling effort we expect here in order to reach this level of semantic or sustainable manufacturing process evaluation from the semantic point of view?
Thank you. This is really interesting because we focus with Yasamin on that. And if you can see on the left side, we have the system process product dimension. There in the process part, we have all the different division, subsetting of the process in the economical view, so that you can have a plane. It's a 3D, so you can take process, you can take economic, and you focus and you cross the subset of all the process needs with all the economical KPI, for example, to understand where is the balance, where is the point, where is the optimum way to assess the sustainability for what? For a kind of product. The product can be directly manufactured or used, related to the economical way. But if we move on the plane and selecting the product, and we move on the plane with the process, we can go and see if the economical view can be optimized with the environmental. So we didn't present the sub-selecting of the different subdividing of the different domain, but we made the possibility, we made the tool with simple modification of the focus to start to place on one plane instead of the other, to cross the different interested plane, and so catch the solution that we want to have related to the different variables.
Yeah, thank you. And I guess in this specific domain, there are a lot of steps where we can valorize more the value of semantic annotation, semantic concept that we can collect from some previous processes, because starting from the definition of only one product or one machine or whatever, we go for the decomposition, after for the characterization of each component, for the identification of the KPIs, the identification of the configuration mechanisms that we can help us to make some variation in the way that we can reconnect together the components, and later till the standardization effort that we have to provide in order to confirm that our product is sustainable, because it's not a matter of changing one component, it's a matter of analyzing the set of components together. And for each one of the steps, we need a lot of knowledge, and we need a lot of mechanism in order to connect this knowledge together, and by the end of the day, be able to certify that what we will get after this transformation is more sustainable than what we have in the beginning of the process.
Absolutely.
So again, I guess this this view is very interesting, because you are in terms of research, we are coupling a lot of dimensions, the life cycle aspect, the triple bottom line aspect, and other dimensions regarding the level of the hierarchy, and combining the system, the product, and the process is huge work, and we need a lot of semantic consideration there.
Yeah.
Maybe let's say to go for the last question, I will try to combine your fourth contribution and your project. You provide some, let's say, contribution in terms of manufacturing process control, and you consider in the future that you would like to open let's say, the exploitation of CPS as a set of connected objects. So you go deeply in terms of knowledge engineering effort, in terms of discovery, extraction, and formalization. You presented the concept of a network of CPS, or something that we can bring some new capabilities for one industry. And if we connect this with your fourth contribution in terms of manufacturing process control, so CPS can be used today for maybe industrialization or in-process control. This will help to be more reactive, to analyze, catch different events that can happen in the company, and provide some decision in order to maybe change the parameter of the machines, or stop freeze the process itself in order to find a better solution if we cannot, or if you are not able to provide or integrate the solution. Understand the process of fetching the data, be able to create the knowledge, and this knowledge will help to create the network of CPS. But later, the loop, in order to close it, we need to back to the system in order to integrate something. For example, we have to go back to the machine in order to freeze it, if we can consider that what happens now is not expected, or will provide the loss of huge quantity of products and so on. So, and this integration need also some specific efforts in terms of knowledge, because we have to let's say, consider the knowledge that we will collect for the decision, but we have to consider additional knowledge to find the best way to integrate the decision in the system itself. Sometimes we can stop, sometimes we have to wait till the end of the process, because it's, let's say, more cheaper, or in terms of impact, we will lose less than what we lose if we act immediately in the machine. So I'm missing this in your project, this loop, to go back to the system, to different machines, to the different information system that can be support of what happens in an industry, and integrate this decision in coherence of what we can identify as best case, worst case, or the most likely. There are a lot of scenarios, a lot of considerations that we have to calculate, and we have to provide, let's say, the way to identify it in order to make our CPS network connected, not only in terms of fetching the data, providing a decision, but integrating this decision with, let's say, the context of the company itself.
Absolutely. It's not a question, it's a team. It's a
I'm sorry.
Okay, so first of all, with Concetta, we understood really well. In fact, she worked a lot on the physical system. When she worked on the machine, she modeled all the physical laws inside the machine. This gave the possibility to link the single CPS, but also all the CPS. Or in the industry where we make the case study, we didn't have a really interesting novel CPS that could exchange information and understand information between them, so to acquire new consciousness, knowledge, to modify also if the data of a machine was, for example, the temperature of this machine is too high, 150 degrees. Normally the range should be between 100 and 120. There are 30 degrees more. Normally, what a CPS or a network of CPS would do is to block the machine, because in this way the temperature goes down. In reality, if the parameters of the machine for a certain time allow this kind of temperature, and knowing that other part of the CPS network were sending information to that production line, that there were an accidental heat that is going to pass, this would completely change the physical way that the single CPS would react, because it would not only stuck with the direct CPS, direct censoring, but it would be cooperation. And this is the fact that for me, CPS now it's evidently a step. The future of CPS are absolutely related to the group the intelligent brew, intelligence that are related to a vast network of sensing object. It's intelligent. It's something that is for the moment too much, but having the possibility to interact between them, this would change completely the way that the actuator would react to the problem, and this would close the loop of the physical stuff that you were speaking about, because for the moment the loop is not closed. The physical variables are not in retro loop on the back loop on the definition of and the use of the knowledge that it's now used.
Thank you, Mario. I guess I will stop here. It's always a great pleasure to discuss together about all of these research topics. And again, thank you for all what you proposed to us in your manuscript and what you present today. Congratulations again, and good luck for the next steps.
Thank you, Néjib.
Thank you.
Thank you, Néjib. Now we will move to Professor Angel Ortiz-Paz. Again, we have some 15 minutes for the question and answers.
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. President. Good afternoon, everyone. Good morning from the people from Argentina. Well, first of all, I would like to say thanks to the University of Lorraine for this invitation, and more specifically to my colleagues from them, that I suppose that they have a lot of things to do to say about this invitation. It was a big pleasure to act as a rapporteur of the document that I received. It was a very nice document. It was quite comfortable to read and quite interesting. And it's also a pleasure to be here as a member of the jury for the habilitation. Well, when I read the document, I can see that you have a very good, very balanced curricula, taking into account research, teaching, and knowledge and technology transfer. Then, first of all, I would like to put some question about these three axes of our work in the university. And the first one is about teaching. Well, I saw in your career, also in the plan that you have proposed for the future about teaching, that you are focused on two main different aspects. One of them is related with Enterprise 4.0, artificial intelligence and integrated enterprise management. That is quite related with all your research, let me say. And the other one, and my question is in that point, is about the other X for the teaching, that is about LIRM. That is quite interesting also for me, because I think that complements some aspect of your career and your knowledge. The question here is that, and it's more a question about my own curiosity about that. LIRM manufacturing is more focused on visual aspect and visual tools, and sometimes when you work in this kind of tools, you miss some kind of semantic interoperability and formalization. But in my last experience in all these projects about lean and enterprises and so on, I think that LIRM as a visual tool is more or less reaching all the utility for the enterprises, at that in the enterprises they need to complement LIRM approaches with more computer-based approaches like MES system or something like that. Then my question here is about what is your experience in this aspects, and if you are trying, that I think so, that you are trying to complement this LIRM with a specific knowledge from your research about interoperability, about semantics, about knowledge capture, and so on. Do you think that it's possible to converge both approaches?
Thank you, Angel, for the question and for being here. Yes, I completely agree with the fact that LIRM 4.0, LIRM in general, it's something that is related to the vision, and my work is related to the knowledge. As I said, I created and I will start the 4 new modules of my teaching, trying to combine how the data can be visualized and how this visualization can bring knowledge. This is something that it's quite difficult for two aspects. First of all, because I will have students for the first and the second year, so I cannot directly go and put difficult and articulated concepts. So I will start little by little. First of all, making them understand what is it, a data, how can be represented, how can be visualized. And then, in parallel, I will push their knowledge towards the fact that what is a data it's related to an information through the context. It's related to the knowledge through some action that you can do in a specific environment. Evidently, the knowledge is a pattern, and so when some students will be able to recognize a pattern, a visual pattern, it immediately can translate it in knowledge, and this knowledge after can be little by little linked to all the other steps of their knowledge path. This is my way.
Okay, quite interesting. Talking about other aspect is knowledge and technology transfer to the enterprise. I think that your main activity in this part is regarding the different projects that you are running, or you are right now working with enterprises. And as my previous colleague have mentioned, well, the two aspects that you are working on researching during this time, semantic interoperability and knowledge formalization, are, let me say, probably hard aspects to be understood in the enterprises. Then my question here is to what extent do you consider that your research, or which part of your research is more suitable to be transferred to the enterprise, and which part, when you have been working with the enterprise, you feel that can have more impact in the enterprises regarding the current results of your research?
Okay. First of all, interoperability. Interoperability is something that it's really easy in this period to be understood by the people from the industrial world, because they understand more and more that without precise comprehension, precise understanding of what is a process from another part of the from another part of the same enterprise or another enterprise, what this can be, what kind of impact this can be if they don't understand really precisely what is the action to do. So interoperability, semantic interoperability, it's quite easy to make them understand. Knowledge extraction, knowledge formalization, it's a little bit more harder. I remember with Concetta, when she wanted to make understand the enterprise why she was doing this kind of work, why she was extracting patterns to make them after being reusable. This is the part that is less easy to explain and less easy to transfer, because we can show with the example, with expression function, some kind of knowledge extraction. But then, if on the other side there is no a real formal procedure to cope with the function that we pass, this is a problem. And if we go towards the great group, it's easy. They did it since 2010. They are working on that. But the middle enterprise, middle technology enterprise, it's a little bit more difficult. So semantic interoperability, no problem. knowledge extraction with a little bit of work, yes.
Okay, thank you, Mario. And well, regarding the research part, I have a couple of questions. The first one is about the use of the concept of semantic interoperability.
Mm-hmm.
You have a speak about semantic interoperability in terms of data, in terms of knowledge, in terms of processes, in terms of architecture, in terms of CPS. I agree that you have to cover all this kind of semantic interoperability, but regarding your research, my question is: do you think that the background about your research cover all this kind of semantic interoperability, or you are more focused on data semantic interoperability or process, data and process, and maybe in the future you will cover other kind of semantic interoperability? Because in my mind, this is a little bit confused about all the information that you have presented. Well, let me say, and you know, because you are a very good expert about that the interoperability is different when you are speaking about product interoperability, process interoperability, CPS, and so on. Then, which is your focus, mainly regarding the future of your research?
Surely, thanks for the question, because it makes me explain really where my focus is. In 2009, I had my PhD, and it was related to interoperation between business process and business model with some constraint. Then I made my postdoc, and I completely started working on semantic interoperability of models, of enterprise models. Then, little by little, my interest was focused on knowledge and how this knowledge can be expressed, represented in every kind of model, representation, process, etc., etc. So it's like I inverse the way I see. I'm not going to try to execute semantic interoperability everywhere. My focus is on knowledge, and if you go back on information and data modeling, etc., etc., so that when I arrive to knowledge, look here, I said we can consider a pattern to be knowledge if it exceeds interesting threshold. Is that interesting threshold? For me, semantic interoperability is when knowledge can be represented in a way that whatever is on the left side or the right side, they can understand what is working on. So the constraint that is related to, evidently are different, related to product, related to process, related to enterprise, are different. But my intent is to go with my knowledge representation able to adapt itself to the constraint that the different level of abstraction or the different level of process can impose to me.
Okay, that's lead me to the next question. Mm-hmm. That when you present your path in all your research, taking into account the product life cycle, it seems that is something quite, that's the point, quite linear. And yeah, well,
we know that it's not linear. If it could be linear,
yeah, I understand you. It's my reflection. When you are speaking about this kind of interoperability about knowledge, I understand that the process in your mind is not so linear that you represent here, that in some way you are working in a concurrent way, and it's no well, now I analyze now the product and I extract the knowledge and I work about the interoperability or the semantic interoperability, and then I analyze the process, and then I think that in some way when you are working and put in your research things like CPS and something like that, that in some way they are including a lot of different concepts of knowledge and about product, about processes, and all these things, that in some way you are moving to a, let me say, concurrent way to analyze and to work with all these concepts. And my point is, if am I right or am I confused about that?
No, you are completely right. What it seems linear, it's because, no, first of all, because it was mandatory that I can present something that you can easily understand, because, 10 years of work, it should be simplified at max. So this is the fact that why it could be, why there is always a single line and not a bunch of different functions that extract the single structure of knowledge, and from that single structure of knowledge we could explode in multiple directions. One of each the direction could be a possible representation, okay? But then the problem is how to instantiate, because if you go towards an instantiation, yes, you have the model, but then the other model that receive the instantiation of the knowledge could be completely misleading and misunderstood. So absolutely, I remember a work that we did with Alexis Aubry, an associate professor with whom I worked a lot till 2014, 2014. We focused a lot on the structuring of the way that the concept could compose themselves to create a bunch of knowledge that can be used in that instance. But then we remain with the maximum flexibility of the links between the knowledge, so that when we have to apply from, for example, a product towards a process, we can use the same knowledge. The links are there, but that we can extract the links and concept to create another bunch of knowledge that can be used to the process model.
Mm-hmm. Okay, perfect. Okay, that's all from my side. Congratulations again, Mario, for the document, for the presentation, and also for the answer. And I wish you all the best for the next steps in this process.
Thank you, Angel.
So, thank you, Angel. So now I will give the floor to Michele D'Assiste.
Okay, Thank you so much, Mrs. President, in this case. First of all, I wish to thank you twice for two reasons. Because first of all, I have the chance to discuss with high scientific topics. Okay, first of all, this one that reminds me how when I was in the States in 1987, and I first reread the book of Cercone and McCullough, that you well know, The Knowledge Frontier. That was the first time artificial intelligence was born. I guess was 1 or 2 years earlier. And that has been always my companion in some way. Also because in 2003 I met Hervé and so on, you know, that then everything came up after this. So I joined with the informatics people for a long time. Second, I wish to thank you because that's really a pleasure in this hard time to have the, I would say, the privilege to discuss of scientific matters, which is not always the case in this period, you know. So it's really an honor, and I'm really grateful to have been invited here as a component of this jury. And then I come with you, Mario. You present a long period of time, so it's almost 8 years, so it's a huge period. I guess it's not easy to summarize it. But what I think, so let me firstly give you the impression. I will not go through each kind of or each part of your thesis because it's, you know, it's not that my role in this case. But just to give you the chance to think about something, you have a strong challenge to face, I guess, which is to, I would say, to combine, to harmonize two different and maybe antithetic aspects. The first one, I would call it hardware aspect, is to show how automation and information technology can be tied or linked to informatics, which is the software part. So in some sense, I would guess your challenge has been so far how to harmonize physical systems with virtual systems. No, I would say that that's the main challenge of your job. So I won't go through the different applications because the context to me are less important than the reason which is behind. And the reason behind, I guess, in this challenge you face is the, I would say, you are searching something which is you call sometimes meanings, sometimes understanding. You use these terms. This comes for the first question of the first discusser, is the human part of this reason. You know, how much you are willing to solve the famous question of humanless factories, for instance, which is no more the case right now, but it was in my time. You know, we are talking about a lot of humanless factory because there was the strong hope that artificial intelligence can replace humankind. And so that's the main point of your, I would say, of your contribution, is to find some key that solve this problem of synchronizing, harmonizing, I would say, hardware with software. And this comes some point of discussion that you may reply or just take as a suggestion for the future work. First of all, the role of cyber physical systems within this framework, you know, because cyber physical systems try to embed some part of the artificial intelligence while trying to solve some practical or pragmatical problem, you know. And sometimes in your work that you presented, you talk about complexity. Complexity, you know, is a fascinating word, but sometimes can be a buzzword because complexity is, I would say, refer to something that our human mind cannot grasp, you know. So maybe that you, in some part of your reasoning, are confident that automation means the machine can help the human to grasp the reality. I guess the cyber physical system may have this role. And so, you know, that's the main point of your work, I think, to harmonize the cyber communication with the physical communication. So if I have to put a question, I would like just invite you just to speculate on this. Let us know what your meaning or what you thought about the future of your research on these topics.
First of all, thanks to be here, and thanks for this interesting and open mind question that gives me the possibility to look a little bit in the future, perhaps near, perhaps midterm, we will see. For me, cyber-physical systems are elements that links two different concepts. First of all, intelligent sensor, where intelligent is smart more than intelligent, because intelligence is something that we can define after. Smart sensor that can inside themselves have some kind of answer relating to the fact that they acquire information. Now they are able to communicate. So what they do is having the possibility to sense the world and to answer, giving some advice or actuating some kind of action. For me, in the future, this would be like a single part of an enormous brain capable not only to use the little intelligence embedded in itself, but it will be easy for the cyber-physical system of the future, whatever it be. For me, it will be an agent of a network of agents communicating and able to give answer, to make decision, and to go towards the action. It's like the Asimov's novel, where whatever you were in a astroship or something like that, in Starship or something like that, you can ask to your artificial communication agent, and he can use all the knowledge present in the net to answer you. This, for me, is the cyber system, the cyber-physical system of the future. Relating to the knowledge and the possibility to link two worlds, so the physical world and cyber world, my idea is to go through the complexity. As you said, complexity is a buzzword. Complexity for us, for the scientific, is something that is it's a whole object that is composed by other system, other objects that are the links between them. It's so strict and so inextricable, but at the same time their individuality is so well done that a complex system can be easily represented by a twofold philosophical point of view. First of all, individuality completely melt in a multiverse, a multiple object links. This is what I wanted to answer to you.
Okay, really interesting. So you means that you had some time you remind me the holonic networks in some sense, you know. Yeah. That means we are trying to replicate, I would say, a human being way of interacting. You said that you love working in team. It's exactly what we're trying to replicate in a virtual space. in some sense. Yes, it's a very interesting one. But again, let me stress a little bit more the concept of knowledge that you use, because knowledge is always a matter of giving the meaning within a context, and that comes to the point that you discuss and we discuss, because we had the chance to work together with the independency concept. Can you argue something more on this, just to explain also to the Commission the meaning of such invariance concept?
The concept of knowledge that I like very much is the fact that is a pattern. And when this pattern is so important to be represented in a system or in an environment, then to bypass a threshold, then there you can say, oh wow, this data pattern contextualized is really interesting, so I can take note of it. I will take all the packet, all the box composed by data, linked between the data, so contextualized link, and I create information, and then this information applied to a particular situation that exceed some level of chaos gives me the possibility to be useful for other use, other systems, other environment. So for me, this is what is it knowledge. It's a data contextualized, a pattern of data contextualized that can be reused in several environments.
So the meaning that you give to environment is something that looks like some visual, or is a different representation that you choose?
When I say environment, is not to say that there are a number of characteristics where this pattern can be applied, and to simplify, I call it environment in a physical way of speaking, because inside an environment you have multiple variables, physical variables, that they can be parameterized, and you can use your pattern, for example, to act with a result in this environment, in this parameterized environment.
Okay, my question was if a pattern, and maybe I was wrong, pattern is something visual or not necessarily visual? What you meant?
Not necessarily visual. A pattern can be a configuration that you can have of contextualized data and action. You can have a pattern that are, for example, changing the state of a machine. It's the same pattern that gives you the possibility to open or close an electricity valve. The pattern is the bunch of action that are related to the information and the data that you can apply in an environment.
Okay. Thank you so much. Good luck for your next research.
Thank you, Michele.
Thank you again for being here.
Hind,
too early?
Yeah, thank you.
I'm really too long.
Okay, so thank you, Michele. So we will now go to Mr. Alejandro Fernandez. Are you?
I'm here.
Okay.
So
you have the floor.
Yeah, so I will only use a few minutes. I think Mario already had plenty of questions regarding the technical aspects. I'll try to focus on his plans for advising the research group. But first of all, I'd like to thank the university for the invitation. It's been an honor serving, not only serving in this role, but serving in the case of Mario's defense. It's an honor and a pleasure. And then Mario, thanks for the presentation. It was, I mean, you condensed years of work, yours and of your team, and your plan for the future in 45 minutes. And I really like the way you painted an overall picture by putting together what at the beginning were isolated pieces, I guess. With your first PhD student, you chose a topic without having a clear vision in mind. And now you're at this point of reflection and planning. So you look back and it's not that you did it in the last month, you did it in the last part of your career up to this point, that you looked back and you painted a picture trying to look what all these pieces bring together or make together and what is missing, and you use that what is missing to plan your future. And somehow I'm a bit jealous about your moment now, because these moments of reflecting on what you did, painting a picture and using that as a plan forward are difficult, but are really interesting. In fact, I find this, for example, this graph, this metaphor of the puzzle, I find it useful for us. It was useful for me to understand what you did. I guess it's useful for the research community to understand the domain. Someone else could grab this and try to find what are the other missing puzzles and just go ahead. But I think it's also very interesting for your students or your future workers in your team, the people you will advise, because they will understand. First, they will have places to look for their topics, but then they will understand how what they do contributes to the team. I think Marianne said something like that. Now regarding this, that you now have a plan that looks like, okay, this is for my next 10 years, we'll follow this plan. I was wondering, how will you deal with the balance between following your plan and giving your students freedom to pursue what they want to pursue? Will you tell, for example, if a student comes and says, I want to do, I don't know, usability studies, will you reject this student or will you try to? That's one part of my question. The other part is the same thing, but how will you balance your plan with funding opportunities? You know, we don't know what the EU will propose as the main lines in 3 years. How will you adapt your plan to match that? So that's basically regarding my first comment is regarding your great plan, grand plan, that I find it wonderful. But then how will you balance the plan with the freedom that you need for finding students, collaboration opportunities, and funding? That's my first question.
Thank you, Alejandro. Thank you, because it's really interesting, because, you know, answering to this question, you have to show yourself. And this is always sometimes a pleasure and sometimes something that you want to to hide. But now it's a pleasure, because first of all, about the freedom of the research, because it's that we are thinking about, not only because I have a path in my mind, but evidently this path can integrate different strategy. So if when I will propose a new subject, the person the student who I will the honor to mentor will ask me not only to work on the part that I suggest, but also to integrate with some other stuff. But it will be interesting. It will be something enriching, because we would try to create links between the different domains. And this is something that through my 8 years long and since 2010, I'm trying to understand. The interoperability is not only what I think, what you think, okay, we put something that gives us the possibility to understand each other. It's something that it's more than that. It's 1 + 1 = 3, because when you create new knowledge, you create new knowledge. So when you create new links that gives you the possibility to understand something, it's something that is greater than single representation of knowledge in model A and model B. So this is the first. Second, how to finance, how to fund the financial aids to continue this path. First of all, I'm lucky, we can say in this way, because EU in the next 7 years, it's quite aligned with my research interests. And then if you see knowledge extraction, it's not something that it's now important. Now it's crucial. Now we have a lot of technical helps, but we need to create other technical solution, because the problem of extraction becomes more and more complex. But knowledge extraction and semantic interoperation, it started with a human being, because two people from different places wanted to translate, wanted to communicate, they need to interoperate semantically between them. So I'm quite sure that this branch of research will be there for a long time, more than my lifespan, at least.
Thanks. It looks promising, at least. Then regarding, I also like the metaphor you used. I like metaphors, and you used a lot of metaphors. So I also like the metaphor of the temple. That, can you just go there? So this is how you foresee working, advising your team, your group. Now, while you were presenting this, I was expecting a pillar that normally, at least here in Argentina, it's quite important, and that I think you consider, but it's not in the drawing, because you mentioned projects in the European Union, you mentioned Industry 4.0 and particular projects with people from industry. You mentioned the pharma industry, and then the pillar that I'm missing is industry or impact or innovation. And I tell you what I'm missing, and it may have to do with our context. We as researchers are measured by the articles we write and by the students we help become researchers. In the case of less developed countries like mine, we do research in topics that are of interest for the developed countries like Europe or the US. And we miss the fact that we change society by trying to tackle problems that society have, or at least our industry has. So is there a missing pillar there in how you see your group? Is industry a missing pillar, or is industry and impact something that is already part of the graph, or do you think that impact is something that industry has to look for its own? You know what I mean? It's
completely. It's really clear, your question.
Okay.
And I will answer immediately. First of all, with Yasamin, we focus on sustainability. With Concetta, we started to think about how our research will impact the structure of the enterprise itself. With Silvana, we worked on the modification and the optimization of the answer the health system could do towards people. So the impact is everywhere.
Yeah.
It's transversal, because when you say scientists for research, publication, supervising, but there's we have the results in society in the terms of case study. For us, our case study, but reality, when this case study will be applied not only by the case study enterprise, but with other enterprise, this change the way the industry will work. And the same stuff for the health, and the same stuff for the ecology, economy, etc. So for me, it's not one specific pilot, but it's everywhere. When I look for funding in the third pilot, I look for funding with enterprise, and the enterprise needs to, for example, in Europe, if you want to participate to a research project, you need to have a standardization for the sustainability, for the openness, for the impact in the ecology, etc., etc. So in reality, it's everywhere. Perhaps it's present in the four pillars. Yes, it's present in all the four pillars, the impact.
Thanks, Mario. And my last question is, I wanted to ask something technical also. Most of the examples that you use and the cases that you use for inspiration are in industry, and it's data that is normally structured and generated by systems. And this data and the knowledge you will extract from it will be used to make decisions, or even systems will use it to enact, make decisions and change. Now, a problem that somehow connects to me or connects in my mind with evidence-based decision making. A system will use knowledge, and based on that knowledge, will make a decision. Now, I connect to that because we're now, as humans, in a moment where we can use structured information. I'm not just talking about text and opinions. I'm talking about structured information. We can visualize, extract knowledge from structured information and make decisions. We're not very good at doing that. And we're facing now a problem that is trust. It's not that we cannot visualize, understand, use the data, but even when we can do that, we cannot trust the data because we know what happens. We know that lots of systems and people are injecting false, fake, or unsupported data that others use to make decisions. So what is the place of trust, trustworthiness, veracity of the extracted knowledge? Because as we as humans inject false information or not false in the sense that we do it on purpose, but information with errors, systems could also do that. The data that you mine to create or extract knowledge may have problems. So, what is there a role in your puzzle? Is there a piece in your puzzle that has to do with veracity, trustworthiness, provenance?
Thank you for the question. That is quite complicated to answer to, but I will try with the things that I have in my mind. First of all, for me, the answer needs to go back to philosophy, absolutely, to Plato and Aristotle, because with them we understand that we have the creation of the postulate. The postulate is something that cannot be verified. It's taken as true, okay? It's the things that we do constantly when we interact with the world, the real world. We postulate that our physical senses gives us information, real information. Then we have all a bunch of, we can speak about that for hours, but I need to simplify. So first of all, we need, when we use the word trust, we need to understand and to define what for us is the real world and what for us is the trustness. I teach oh my God. Signore. Blockchain. In blockchain, the trust is completely given to the fact that there are a lot of people that has got the same point of view, the same interpretation, the same data, so that nobody else can modify it. So we don't take a third of trust, a third body of trust. We select a method to gain interestness. So my point of view is that we need to invent, because of the fact that now there are a lot. Look at deepfake. Deepfake, it's at the same time fantastic and horrible. Fantastic because in this way we can have actors that will be filmed also if they are not more there. Horrible because you cannot understand if some video is really done and the things that it's said by the video, it's really the things that the person said. So I think we need new methods in this age of lack of trustness towards a lot of different institutions. And this is something that I think exists in the formalization of the mathematical tools. Mathematics, apart the arithmetic, etc., gives us the possibility to communicate always in a way that it's plain and you cannot interpret. So using the language of mathematics, we will create methods to gain interestness and to understand if the object that we can interact with is telling us something that we can trust on or not.
Thanks, Mario.
Thanks to you.
Okay, that was all I had to ask.
Okay, thank you. So we are a little bit late, so we will, Mario, if you can have quite answers
rapidly.
Yeah, rapid answers that can help. So Virginie, I will give you the floor.
Thank you very much, Mrs. President. I will be very short. So first of all, thank you very much to invite me to be part of this jury and to have the chance to discuss with you. And really congratulations for all the work, for the report. I read it with a lot of pleasure, and your great presentation. And I really appreciate the way you present the work that at the beginning seems very different, very various, and you make the link. And for me, that work on information system since a long time, I really appreciate the effort and the contribution you make to make the link between the data, the knowledge, the information, and you are really not only a user of all these techniques, ontology, knowledge extraction techniques like the thesis of Michael I reported, and you bring really also contribution in this field, and this is very scarce, and really congratulations for that. And I have no scientific question. I think we will have another time the chance to exchange about it. Just how do you consider the work you make here with all knowledge formalization and help have more semantic interoperability? How do you think it can impact the industry performance or the healthcare system performance? How do you see the impact of all the techniques, the methodology you develop on the performance of manufacturing companies, but also healthcare system, and so the impact on society somehow?
First of all, thanks to be here, Virginie. Thanks a lot. And thanks for the question, because, it's quite, I will be quite fast. It's quite interesting to understand what our work will impact, the domain and the application where we are used to work with. First of all, the health. I think with all the tools that I created, with evidently the PhD contribution and the postdoc contribution, will optimize the answer of the system. And regarding the industry, the idea is to make as fluent as possible the links between the different entity. First of all, the enterprise with all the other enterprise that gives raw material, sub-elements, etc. And secondly, in the exchange of information and materials product with the other enterprise. The word is fluidificant. The fluent, as fluent as possible. This is what I see when I look at the domain of application where I work with.
Yes, thank you very much. And just one question: if we would have the chance in the future to work together, on which topic would you like to work with me?
sorry, if
in the future we would have the chance to work together on a research project, on which project would you like to work with me?
Ah, fantastic. With I would love to work with you in agriculture 4.0, because there are a lot of concepts from industry 4.0 that we can imply and we can put in that domain that it's completely uncoordinated. And so with our point of view, we can see and we can help to organize and to perform much better towards every kind of assessment: sustainability, financial, resource optimization, etc.
It would be a pleasure to exchange, and I would like to, not now, but for healthcare, I think we could imagine some great and interesting projects. So congratulations again for this presentation, the report, and I wish you all the best for the future.
Thank you, Virginie. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Virginie. So we will just now maybe move to Hervé Panetou.
Okay. So thank you, Mario, for this really nice presentation. Although I loved a lot the puzzle, so I will ask you to send me your presentation, because I have seen that presentation before with you, but you didn't send me the PowerPoint, so I needed only to
because it's a PowerPoint
slide. So please send it to me.
Sure.
And I need also to archive it with all my students, colleagues, and so on. Okay, so I have no question no question. I just want to say that I recruited you as a postdoc 10 years ago, 2011, exactly 10 years ago, a few months more or less, one or few months more or less. When I recruited you, it was quite, as you can say, a chance. I was lucky to find you, because initially, if you remember, together with my colleague Nasser, we planned another postdoc, and then you were available to come here in Nancy. So when I met you the first time, okay, I thought that this guy is strange, but this guy seems very intelligent. And finally, I can say that since 10 years, you had a brain that fertilized everything. Because every time I had ideas, you know that I have always plenty of ideas, I gave you something, and then you had some fertilization there, and this idea becomes something really important, really great, with a lot of papers, with a lot of research, with students and so on. And so I was always pleased to work with you. I'm always pleased to work with you, even if sometimes I have to wait that you come. But
yes,
I'm still always pleased to work with you, Mario.
Absolutely.
And I have seen that since now 2 years, 3 years, you change a little bit, but in a positive way, in the fact that you started, as you said in your presentation, to try to find fundings, to try to impose your subjects, your ideas more than before. It's because and it's why now you are passing this habilitation. It's because probably you're starting to be mature to really do your own research and not to do research that we discuss together. Of course, I hope that even we always say that the researcher that become habilitated will start to kill his
no,
professor. I hope you will not kill me, and that we will continue to work together since many years for me, and much many more for you, because you are younger than me, and that we will continue to maybe jointly fertilize and to discover many things and to work on many interesting projects and with very interesting students during many years. So congratulations, Mario. I can also say that you are, for me, in practice, the first colleague working with me that is habilitated. Well, we had another one, but it's not exactly the same. I was not till the end with him, but so you are the first one. So the first one is always good, and I always hope that the next one will be better.
Absolutely.
If it is sometimes difficult to be better, but
we will find him.
Yes. Congratulations. Thank you for all these 10 years, and thank you for the next 10 years, because I will not work more than 10 years now. And, but we have plenty of time to do many things.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hervé.
Hind, you can continue.
Yeah. Thank you, Hervé. Maybe we will give the floor to William, and after I will have just a small question. Okay? William, you can have the floor.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you, Mrs. President. What could I say after all these compliments? That was I would like to thank you, Mario, for inviting me to your defense. Your manuscript was really nice to read and detailed, quite nicely your contribution that you made all along your career. From my point of view, I really think this presentation is full of energy and willingness and very communicating and full of rigorous fantasy, because I think that you like fantasy, but you are very rigorous at the same time. And this is really nice, because this is really how I see you in real life, as a curious, dynamic, rigorous, and very nice and pleasant researcher. So, and this discussion all along the presentation were numerous and rich, which will perhaps lead to new collaboration. I particularly appreciated all the work around the FCA and RCA approaches, since we'll, I hope, really soon work together on the PhD thesis to apply such tools in the framework of the RNR ISOBIM you cited. And there is some question about the RCA and FCA approaches. So have you thought to the influence of the quality and variation of the data needed to execute FCA process and to the consequences of the data quality, which is not really trustworthiness, but it's like trustworthiness. Do you think that the result could be really? Did you try to measure the effect of data quality on FCA process, for example?
First of all, thank you to be here, William. Thank you a lot. And secondly, thank you for the question. The things that I want to say is the RCA and also FCA relating to data mining. We need always have some kind of pre-processing to give the possibility to work in an interesting and a good result way. What I can say, if we do some kind of pre-processing, we have data that are not good in quality, evidently we have a great impact. We will have a formal concept that will not represent really not represent the reality. This means that we will have association rules that will tells us knowledge, information, and then knowledge that are not completely coherent with the source that we are extracting the data. So, like all the data mining approach, the data quality is crucial, and it's a step before working on the method. We can do something if we know that the data are not of best quality. Yes, we can adjust some parameters to extract knowledge, to extract association rules that are, for example, some 100% relationship to the data presence, and try to burn the quality lack.
Okay, thank you. I have a lot of other questions, but I think that you had a lot of questions to answer. So thank you for all, and thank you for the invitation.
Thank you, William.
Thank you, William. So just to finish, I'd like to thank you, Mario, for your dynamic and clear presentation. I really appreciate your puzzle also, so I will have a question for the puzzle. But I want to say also, as a co-leader of ETSII department, that I'm really glad and proud to have research like you, that and to see all your career in our department, the richness of your career, coherence of your career. So really thank you to be with us, and thank you for all your contributions. I have just maybe a small question, because when we take a look to your research project, we have knowledge formalization discovery, knowledge formalization, heterogeneous. We have formalization, the word is formalization. So how we can deal, because in Industry 4, we will have some knowledge that we can formalize, other knowledge that we cannot formalize. How, and maybe this knowledge is this knowledge is used by a human. So how you can integrate this two-part system and human to exploit all the knowledge, what we can formalize and what we cannot formalize.
Thank you for the question. First of all, thank you to be here, Hind. And secondly, thank you for the question. First of all, I would say we have a level of formalization. So yes, we can go towards ontology, that is one of the most formalized type of knowledge that we can, way of formalizing knowledge. When I see the human being inside the bunch of, for example, Factory of the Future, Industry 4.0, etc., it's impossible to think that man, human being, cannot be always inside with different role, but inside the loop. Why? Because for the moment, at least, we cannot formalize all the different aspects of the process that a human being is able to do. So for me, the important thing is that we need to clarify. In fact, I like to find method to clarify all the type of knowledge, also the one that is less formalizable, because in this way we can always create links and use this part of the knowledge, also if it's not completely and totally formalized. So this is a fast answer. I know that we need to be fast.
Okay, thank you. So I think we will finish in this here, but maybe if we have other doctor from the public that want to ask some questions. So if not, so welcome back on a few minutes. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so the jury, let's go to the
other.
Let me see if there is a problem about the fact that you can go.
Yes, connect yourself also, so you can accept everybody in case we have a problem. I don't know.
Where is it? Ecco, okay. So it's quite finished, right? Huh? I will see if I can parameterize the possibility to change option. Okay, here. Okay, so after the jury will announce the result, I will authorize all to have the mic on, and I can do it from here. So I put. Oof. Hi, girl.
Salutations, Mario.
Merci.
Il faut que j'aille. Je voudrais juste te saluer. C'était très bien fait.
Merci, Jean.
Oui, il me fait plaisir de te revoir aussi.
Moi aussi, beaucoup.
Après, on se donne rendez-vous pour causer.
Avec plaisir, absolument.
D'accord? Allez, je vous embrasse tous.
Bye bye, ciao.
Bye bye, ciao.
Complimenti Mario.
Grazie Raffi.
Spero di avere la registrazione, che la devo risentire n altre volte per capirla appieno.
Sicuro.
Teniamo la pizza in caldo per i festeggiamenti allora.
Ora non vedo l'ora, non sai quanto mi manca la pizza. Non lo puoi neanche immaginare.
Bye bye to all. Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao Mario, ti devo salutare, scusami tanto, congratulazioni ancora.
Ciao Fabri.
Bravissimo.
Grazie, ciao. Ciao Meli.
Non mi sono resa conto di essere punto.
Eccoti, adesso ti sento.
Volevo dire, non ti mostro il bicchiere ancora, ce l'ho qui pronto. Però.
No, infatti, anch'io so qua la mia boccia d'acqua.
Lascio lo spazio ad altri. Per me come i complimenti erano incredibili, per voi bel lavoro.
Grazie.
Mario, complimenti, ci siamo anche io e Claudio, però poi ci fai una lezione privata, vero, per spiegarci tutto?
Sì, tranquilla.
Tutto da capo,
Sì, magari più piano, ci prendiamo 3-4 ore invece di 45 minuti.
Vero? Sì, infatti. Bravissimo Mario,
Grazie.
un bacio.
Un bacio. I put the possibility, evidently, as you can see, the possibility to make the mic on. So if you want, we can speak a little bit while the jury is deciding. Hi, Sand.
Hey, how are you, Mario?
Well,
congratulations.
Ciao, zio.
Ah, ciao zio.
Ciao.
Ciao bello.
Ciao zia.
Congratulazioni.
Grazie.
Non ti vedo.
Congratulazioni.
Com'è che non ti vediamo? Non ti vediamo.
Strano. Aspetta,
Dobbiamo premere qualcosa.
Ho capito poco, però complimenti come l'hai risposta.
Grazie zio.
Adesso è finito.
Adesso deve esserci la giuria che mi dà il titolo, quindi che leggeranno il rapporto che hanno fatto e dichiareranno che sono abilitato.
Bravo.
Te l'hai notato l'abilitazione?
Adesso sto aspettando.
La patente.
No, la patente l'ho persa.
Ma ci vedi?
No, purtroppo no. Vi
E che
sento.
dobbiamo fare per vederti?
Ci deve essere da qualche parte un click sull'oggetto che state usando. Hi Germanas, you can speak.
My best wishes to you and my congratulations. Very nice talk, and I will write you later email because I see a lot of common things we could do. So I will write later.
Absolutely, it's also for this reason. First of all, because I would like, I loved that you were there, and secondly, because I think we can surely work on something together.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Mario.
Thank you.
Very good talk.
Thank
I
you.
love it. It was very understandable.
I'm really glad that it was easy to understand. But you know, you are from the scientific world, so it's normal.
Yeah, of course. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Mario.
Thank
Very
you.
good job.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations from my side, Mario.
Thank you, Miroslav. I
was really happy to look your presentation. It was a wonderful presentation, very well organized, and I'm impressed how much you did. My congratulations once again. Bravo.
Thank you, Miroslav. Thank you very much. I'm very happy you are here. Thank you.
It was my pleasure.
Bravo Mario, félicitations.
Merci Philippe.
J'attendais pour que tout le monde passe, parce qu'il n'y a pas de fil ici, pas d'attente.
Non, il n'y a pas d'attente.
C'était super, c'était vraiment super bien fait, très clair comme d'habitude. Voilà, donc...
D'habitude, ça dépend. Quand je t'explique les Kung Fu, on ne comprend rien, mais ça va.
Oui, c'est vrai, pas comme d'habitude, non. Là, c'était un peu mieux, ouais. D'habitude, je comprends rien. Là, j'avais quelque chose compris. Super, bravo, franchement.
Merci, merci beaucoup.
Plaisir. Et je suis content qu'il y ait autant de gens qui sont venus. Tu le mérites, c'est vraiment super.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci.
Vraiment, bravo. Alors, je suis désolée, j'étais pas là au début, j'ai eu des appels importants. Du coup, je suis arrivée à la fin de ta présentation, donc j'ai entendu les questions, donc j'ai un peu compris. Et très bel accent anglais.
Tu sais, l'accent italien sera toujours là. Il partira jamais.
Et ben c'est bien, franchement c'est bien. Ça met du sud, tu vois, ça met du soleil.
Oui, toujours.
Non mais vraiment, bon alors je suis vraiment désolée, du coup j'ai pas du tout entendu la présentation.
T'inquiète, je te passe la vidéo.
Ok. Non mais franchement quand j'ai entendu les questions, j'étais là en mode ah mais ça avait l'air super intéressant.
Ça semblait au moins.
Bon, ben voilà. Ben, merci beaucoup.
Merci à toi. Merci d'être là.
Félicitations.
So you have wine in this bottle, isn't it?
Yes, it's a half vodka and half whiskey.
Last question: where's the party?
Now, for the moment, we cannot organize it, but you will be sure that when we will be free to move, I will organize a real good party. And all will be all together.
Yeah, nice. Okay.
You have to pay the tickets. You have to pay the
for
flight
several
tickets.
parties.
Sure, don't worry. We will organize some project.
Okay. Goodbye from my side. Have a good night. Bye.
Thank you, Miroslav. Bye. Bye. I think the jury is coming. So if you can mute your mic.
We are back. Who's missing?
Okay, everyone here?
Yes, Marianne, Néjib, Angel, Alejandro. Yes, Michele also. Okay, everybody is there.
Okay, so Mario, so during your defense, you present in synthetic and clear manner your career and all of your contribution in the field of knowledge engineering and extraction applied to Industry 4. Or industry of the future. This highlights the coherence and the richness of your career and your background. Your research and teaching project is a continuation of your current work and aim to consolidate some data models and to explore some extension of FCA mechanism, etc. So the jury was able to appreciate the very good balance between your different missions of associate professor. Your supervision activity was judged as to be a very good quality, as evidences by your future doctoral students. Your project is based on aggregate scientific positioning, local socioeconomic domain, and in line with the scientific priorities of the CRAN and department laboratory, and also international community working in the District 4. We have answered to the numerous questions from members of the jury, justifying your great maturity and great scientific culture. Built independently or through multiple local and international collaborations. This is to be highlighted. So for all these reasons, the jury considers that you have the quality to direct and lead research. Consequently, the jury decide to award you a diploma of Habilitation Diriger des Recherches from the University of Lorraine dans la spécialité automatique, signal, image processing, computing, engineering, etc. So congratulations.
First of all, thanks to first of all to all the jury, because you honor me of your presence, your investment. You gave me a lot of hints, advice, and thanks to you, I evidently improved my vision. And I had the possibility to reach this step. I would like to thank Hervé, because it's thanks to him that I'm here. I remember, and I have to say, Hervé, sorry, when you called me for the postdoc, and you tell me, and you spoke in Italian, and I say, and you tell me, okay, now you have a grant for a postdoc in France, and I closed the phone because I thought it was a joke, and then you called again and you spoke in English and in French. I say, oops, perhaps I make a mistake, and it was fantastic because from that point, I had the chance to do what I love, because in Italy it was quite complicated to have the chance to be professor, to be researcher, at this level, and from your call, then everything was simpler. I was completely happy to be in a place where I could do what I loved, in a way I loved, and encircled with people who loves their work. So thanks. I want to thanks also all the laboratory colleagues, because without them there is no interrelationship and fruitful results. And here in CRAN it's really nice when everything, all this pandemic stuff finish, we will return to go at 6 p.m. In our brainstorming room and chat and discuss, etc. This is really nice. I need to thanks evidently all my PhD students. Some of them they are there because the relationship that is created with them, it's really strong, and thanks to this relationship we can work easily together, always. Evidently, I hope that I will have the chance to continue to work with them and to have students of this kind, because it's really astonishing. Without the help and the sustain of my family, I would not be here. I know that my mother would love to see it. I know that my father, that is in COVID time, so it's in hospital. It's he is not here, and it's also for this reason that I record this presentation, because in this way I would love that when he wake up he can see it. I love the fact that that my aunt, my uncle are there. Thank you very much, zia e zio, grazie. And friends. Friends are the backbone of the existence, because family is there because biological we are linked to them. But friends that are there since when I was young, when I was in Italy, when I was in the elementary school, when I arrived here, we created links of friendship. Without friends, we cannot do anything. As I said, that they are the backbone of our life. And then I have to absolutely spend a word about my wife. She is not here because she's working, but I know that this evening we'll enjoy a long chat, and without her support, you don't imagine how supportive she can be. She is fantastic. She is really full of energy, and thanks to her, I finished writing my manuscript during the summertime. 2 days before the marriage, the wedding. So it was really, really fantastic. And I have to thanks because she is always there for me. I'm always there for her. And I hope that we will pass together for a long time. How can I say? It's something that really emotionate me. I'm really touched for all the words that you told me, for the seeing that I saw when you spoke about the work that I did. I know that we can improve, and I will improve. But you know, sometimes it's really nice to that people that you admire, because I admire you, tell that you did a good job and that you can go and work with your legs completely, but at the end it will not always in this way. I will be always linked to all the people, and all together we will impact, as we said during the question time, we will impact the society that we will mold at our shape. So thanks a lot. Thanks all of you for all your time, and we will continue to work all together, I know.
And which room is the champagne room?
I have my champagne. Yeah.
Great. Good for you.
So I thanks everyone, and I hope I hope we'll a party in the near future where the COVID will be masterized.
Okay, thank you. What? Thank you for the virtual champagne.
Congratulations again, and it was
Yeah,
much
congratulations.
appreciated.
Bye-bye.
Good luck for the
Be
future.
careful.
Bye-bye.
Take care, be careful.
Bye.
Stay safe.
Bye. Congratulations.
Saluti alla famiglia.
Grazie, ciao Leandro.
Auguri Mario, bocca al lupo.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao Angel.
Ciao.
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 Ciao Marianne.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Congratulations again. Bye bye.
Ciao Mario.
Alright.
Ciao.
Bravo Rack.
Oh. We need there are not of the Italian. No, there are, wait, because I want to say if I can. Yes, speak Italian because. Grazie mille ragazzi.
Ciao Mario.
Grazie un mondo. Ciao Luca, grazie.
Complimenti Rack.
Complimenti.
Congratulazioni davvero, in bocca al lupo per quello che viene.
Grazie mille. Grazie di essere stati tutti insieme, di esservi presi non so, quante ore sono passate che non ho visto? 2 ore e mezza di...
3 ore e mezza, Mario. Ciao.
Ciao, bello.
Ciao.
Congratulazioni.
Grazie.
Auguri di nuovo, Mario, ciao.
Ciao Yasamin, grazie mille.
Complimenti Mario. Ciao.
Vai Germanas. Ciao Sand.
Congratulazioni Mario.
Grazie.
Mario, congratulazioni.
Grazie Concetta. Ciao Giuseppe.
Ciao, congratulazioni.
Grazie Giuseppe. Salut Alexandre.
Salut. Bref. C'est bon, tout le monde a parlé.
Oui, c'est ça. Je te vois maintenant. Olé.
Félicitations, bravo.
Merci beaucoup.
Ça y est, c'est fini.
Oui, on peut redémarrer Kung Fu là.
C'est fini ou ça commence, ça dépend.
Comme d'habitude, on commence, on termine, on commence.
Ah. Ok, va bene Mario, speriamo di vederci presto in presenza.
Speriamo Luca, a presto.
Prima possibile. Grazie, a presto.
Grazie a te, ciao.
Au revoir à tout le monde.
Au revoir.
Ciao. Congratulazioni Mario, bravissimo.
Grande.
Grazie Silvia.
Oggi ci tocca lavorare.
Mo ci tocca lavorare.
Dice.
Sì, mo ci tocca proprio. Sei pronto a fare qualche Skype call insieme?
Mi sa di sì, mi sa che ci tocca adesso.
Io ho detto, io ho lavorato con un matematico.
Bravo Rack.
Merci Kenza.
C'était super bien.
Merci beaucoup.
Félicitations.
Merci.
E ben,
Va bene.
allez, on y va. Ciao Mario.
Ciao, un bacione.
Ciao a tutti.
Ciao,
Vedo
ciao.
Ciao, salut tout le monde.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
Mario, che farai adesso? Appena spegnerai la telecamera, qual è la prima cosa?
Allora, vado.
La prima,
La prima?
Sì.
Scrivo a Lisa.
Ottimo, ok.
Poi, la seconda è vedere se è uscito un nuovo episodio di una serie che mi piace.
Vabbè, ci sta.
E
E dici pure una terza a sto punto.
E la terza chiudo tutto perché fra 25 minuti sono fuori legge, perché ci sta il coprifuoco.
È vero.
È vero.
Il coprifuoco alle 6 qui.
Ma tu sei in un ufficio, cioè un tuo ufficio questo?
Sì, sono all'università, perché così
All'università.
c'avevo la banda larga e non avevo problemi di connessione. Senti, ma una cosa, come si chiamano? Le transizioni tra le slide si sono viste bene? Perché io da qua vedevo immediate. Sì?
Sì, assolutamente. Benissimo.
Sì,
E mi è piaciuta tantissimo, infatti ti volevo chiedere quella in cui c'era l'omino, hai fatto tutti i passaggi, diciamo, della tua crescita, della tua evoluzione, carinissimo quella, è un'impostazione molto carina. Poi ti farò un po' di domande.
Sì, sì, volentieri, no problem.
Anche il puzzle è stato molto apprezzato.
Sì, enormemente. Non immaginavo che fosse così tanto apprezzato il puzzle.
Comunque, bellissimo, è stata veramente una celebrazione rituale di questi 10 anni, di questi 8 anni, insomma, 10 anni che... È bello, mi è piaciuta proprio anche la ritualità della cosa, veramente.
Hai visto che è cambiata rispetto al giorno in cui ve l'ho fatta la presentazione? L'ho cambiata, gli ho tolto un botto di roba e l'ho
Sì,
resa...
sei stato bravissimo col timing.
Sì, e poi l'ho ripetuta 5 volte in modo da essere preciso col timing. In realtà questa è la volta in cui è durata meno, perché ero probabilmente un po' stressato e parlavo più veloce. Perché sennò finivo sempre a 44,45.
Nice.
Bon, félicitations encore. Le professeur, c'est la semaine prochaine?
Oui.
D'accord.
Oui, j'envoie les trucs la semaine prochaine.
Ça marche. Félicitations encore. Et à l'occasion, on fera une fête quand ce sera possible. Hein.
Absolument.
Sûr.
Merci beaucoup.
Allez, avec grand amour, je t'envoie grand cœur et bisous, je t'embrasse. Allez, ciao, ciao, et embrasse aussi Elisa. Faites une bonne fête.
Merci, merci beaucoup. Ciao.
Ciao tutti.
Ciao.
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 Mando un attimo un messaggio, e poi arrivo da voi.
Ma Lisa, eccolo, vedi che... Ah, ma c'è la famiglia, vedi?
Cosa?
Si è vista un attimo. Ciao.
Ciao.
Devi
acciaccare il microfono, se no non ti sentiamo. E non so perché non ti sentiamo uguale. Però posso leggere le labbra, dai, che cosa stai dicendo? Grazie, grazie mille. Dai che poi ci facciamo una WhatsApp quando arrivo a casa. Grazie mille per essere stati lì. A presto.
Ciao Rack.
Ciao Simo, grazie mille.
Grazie a te, è stato bello, veramente tanto. Complimenti.
Grazie.
Mario, ti mando un bacione anch'io, anche da parte di Claudio che è dovuto tornare a terminare il lavoro. Poi ci sentiamo, insomma, privatamente e parliamo un pochino. Ti voglio chiedere un po' di cose.
Volentieri, va bene.
Ancora congratulazioni,
Grazie, ciao ciao.
Mario, ciao, ciao.
Ciao Dieghito, grazie mille di essere stato lì. Un bacione forte. Thanks, Germanas. Thanks very much to being there.
Once again, thank you for a nice presentation, for a nice talk. I made the recording to my phone.
I will share it on YouTube. I will send the link.
Okay, this is double copy.
Perfect. Don't worry. You know, it's better to have a backup always.
Yes, yes. So thank you. Very nice presentation. My congratulations, and see you virtually by mail.
Absolutely. Wait. Yes.
Yes. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Ciao Diego. Chiudo che fra 20 minuti devo stare fuori di qui. Un bacione.